Great. Warm welcome to another episode of the Monday Morning Learning Podcast. And very excited to introduce my guest for this Monday, Swetha Reddy, we've been colleagues back at Wells Fargo. Swetha, warm welcome to this episode. Thanks so much for taking time. Any
Pleasure is all
welcome?
mine. Pleasure is mine, Ravi. And it's great meeting you like this after a long time.
Same here, Swetha. I think
I'm so proud of what you're doing. And it's an honor to be a part like this. Been following your work.
Thank you. Thank you, Shweta. I think we should be meeting with Madhu quite shortly. Some weekend.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So for the audience, Swetha, let's go through your introduction. Now, from playrooms to boardrooms, Swetha Reddy's journey has been a symphony of strength, love, and unwavering determination. A doting daughter, proud mother of two, and dedicated homemaker, she wears many hats with grace. But beyond her family life, Swetha is a powerhouse in the business world. She is the Chief Operating Officer of Intandemly, a company that's revolutionizing how B2B organizations target accounts, engage decision makers, and accelerate their sales pipeline. Now, Swetha's expertise spans operation strategy, marketing, and business efficiency, with a focus on stabilizing P&Ls, creating strong reporting structures, and fostering growth. She's also the founder of Saan Consultants, offering legal services with a focus on international law firms and SMEs, and a co-founder and strategy and growth advisor for CIG Tribe, the platform connecting budding entrepreneurs to help them thrive. Now, earlier in her career, Swetha worked with Wells Fargo, so both of us actually worked together, and Wikipedia, further honing her leadership and strategic vision. But it's not all about business for Swetha. Now, she has a deep passion for traveling, very envious. All of us are very envious, Swetha. And then we see the photos on Facebook. She's explored 21 countries, guys, and 442 cities across the globe. My God. So from the Serengeti's deep forest to the Great Wall of China, Swetha Reddy is truly a woman who builds both businesses and memories, one adventure at a time. Solid, Swetha. You're really good.
Thank you, Ravi. That was like so good. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. But yeah, the highlight of my life is the travel aspect. The other things have to be there, but I think I needed to take time off to follow my passion, which is traveling.
Absolutely, sure.
Yeah.
We'll definitely, I think, have a very good takeaway from your traveling stories, for sure.
Yes.
So, Swetha, for the audience as such, the Monday Morning Learning Podcast, we actually empower professionals, leaders, and teams with actionable insights on three aspects. Now, team building, operational efficiency, and people skills, enabling them to build high-performance cultures, manage business operations effectively, and develop essential leadership capabilities. So, three themes for today's episode. First one on enhancing team dynamics and collaboration. Second one on optimizing operations and business efficiency. And third one on developing strong leadership and people skills. So these three themes have got sub-themes now. And Swetha, the first question is on the sub-theme of the DNA of high-performance teams. So a couple of questions here for you. What are the key characteristics that differentiate high-performance teams from average ones? And how can leaders like you identify and address common barriers to team collaborations?
High performance teams, Ravi, for me, any team which is working with a common vision, if they're aligned to a common vision, that is a high performing team versus another average team which probably does not have great team members, but do not have that common vision, would eventually falter. So, for that common vision to build up, there are many other smaller things, like mutual respect and trust among the team, amazing communication. There's that ease of communication. And one thing which I completely believe is creating that psychological safety net for the team members. These are, if these are in place, you will, and yeah, how can I forget? Clear roles and responsibilities. This is one of the key things, most often team members, when they're working, they just do the work because they're asked to do that particular work. but they don't know their responsibility or how that work is impacting the overall bigger picture and all that. So if a team is working towards a common vision effectively, like that, that two people cycling, everyone, they need to pedal in tandem to reach their destination. And even one slips off, like whether there's zero trust or there is bad communication, I think then the overall common vision is hit, and that is what affects, that is what probably shifts from being a high performing team to an average performing team.
So when you say tandem, is that the base of Intandemly?
Yes,
All right.
absolutely. Intandemly came from our requirement to create a tandem between sales and marketing teams.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very nice, Shweta. Thank you for that. So moving on, how to build trust in teams. Shweta, you've always been in operations. I've seen you as a successful people manager, managing people properly. What's the invisible glue of success? A couple of questions around practical steps that leaders can actually take to build and maintain trust within their teams. How can they do that? And how does a lack of trust impact team performance? And what are the kind of early warning signs?
See, Ravi, trust for me is something which is not a science, it's an emotion. And it's an emotion that we all start our lives with, whether it is at home, whether it is in the office, whether it is in a relationship. Trust is a key thing, and it's not something that can be built in a day, but unfortunately can be broken in a day. So that careful nurturing has to happen, and leadership has a big role in cultivating that trust in a team. If trust is missing between team members, you'll see signs like blaming, team members blaming each other. You will see, these are these subtle signs, but they make a huge impact. For example, you're having a meeting and the team members are not giving you that eye contact. You know something is off, and you don't do an eye contact when trust is not there. Rest all being fine. Yeah. When trust is not there, you don't do that eye contact, or your general, body language is slouched, or there's no keenness in what's happening. These are all your early signs of saying that, okay, something is wrong in the team. And if everything crops up from that base of trust, and it's very essential for us to create that trust right from a team member's journey starts with a company. So it could just be having those regular check-ins, maybe a daily stand-up, understanding what's happening. Another key thing which I do with my team is having these one-on-ones. And for me, these one-on-ones are sacred. They're completely sacred. And when I say sacred, it's not from a religious perspective, but more from it's a time with me and my team member. And there are no phones. There's no other distraction. I'm there for them. I have their back, and I want to listen to them. I want them to talk. I'm trying to create that psychological safety net for them to be open, to talk, to tell what they are feeling and all. And maybe correct them as well. Like sometimes maybe their thought is wrong, but I would have achieved that status to correct them if they started to trust me. Yeah. And hence I need to build that bed of trust before. So from a business perspective, I try to bring in a lot of periodic check-ins, ensuring my team members have their one-on-ones with equal passion with their respective teams. Ensure that there's a 360 feedback and make the team members feel heard and make them feel valuable, that they should know that what they're contributing is being valued and everyone knows about it. So the moment there's that open communication, transparent communication, trust automatically builds up. You
Absolutely.
know, there are cases when people go wrong. And I think when we as leaders are able to, we should correct them, of course, no doubt about it. And it's wrong if we don't correct them. But then we should also create that avenue where they are able to come up and say, I did this wrong and I will not repeat it.
Yes.
And if they don't repeat it, you've succeeded as a leader. You know, they've learned their mistake, they've overcome that. But the beauty is in the team member having the trust and coming up or standing up and saying, boss, I am the one who did it wrong, and
Absolutely.
stand up. So that is the kind of culture which gets created when there is trust. And when there is no trust, it is a mess. It's a complete mess. Everyone is blaming each other. No one, they're working in silos, even within a team,
Yeah.
even though they're all working for the same project, they're
Right.
still working in silos. And it's a nightmare for the leader to coordinate and collaborate all these efforts and all.
Absolutely.
The key of a non-high performing team, average
Absolutely.
performing team. So I
It
hope.
reminds me of Santosh Cherian back at Wells Fargo. He used to be religious about those one-to-ones. Every Friday, I think 3 to 3:30, half an hour. I think not even once he actually missed the entire year.
He's
Uh,
my guru in this, Ravi.
is it?
Seriously. Yes. It is that one session of his which we attended when we were in that Maita space in Wells Fargo. And that resonated so well with me because I was not having that kind of leadership till then.
Right.
So I didn't know what was right, what was wrong. But
Mm.
then when he told me that, these one-on-ones should be that thing that your team members should wait for,
Yeah.
not because you're going to sit and blame them for not doing this, for not doing that, but for them to look forward to see how they can grow in life.
Absolutely.
And there was another thing which he mentioned that the performance of the team member should be such a mirror that they should know what to expect
Yes.
when they come for a KPI discussion, which means feedback is immediate.
Yeah.
And not wait for that 1 month. You carry it till then and then say, that day you did this wrong and that day you didn't do this and all that. So,
Absolutely.
it is, he is amazing. I took a lot of things from him. One of my role models for people management.
I think I was doing Poonam's podcast last year. She was also talking about, I think, when we talk about such instances, right? I mean, the memory actually goes back to those days where they actually implemented whatever theories we're talking about, right? We actually saw them in execution.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's wonderful. I mean, even Shivayu was actually talking about both Pramod and Santosh during the podcast. So thank you. Thank you so much for the answer, Shweta. I think moving on, looking at optimizing operations and business efficiency theme, what are the biggest operational inefficiencies businesses face, and how can they be addressed? That's number one. And how can leaders foster a culture of continuous improvement within their teams, Shweta, according to you?
I think that three things in creating that effective business operational efficiency, Ravi. I mean, for me, communication, building the absolute clear-cut mechanisms of communication is a key for a killer, efficient business operation. We have to consciously move away from those manual tasks. With so much of AI and so much of automation coming in place, we have to constantly keep checking where are these manual tasks and how can we make them better.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean that we are letting go of people or anything like that, but this just means that we are enhancing their work with maybe, the moment you give automation, they'll move on to something better. So that way, the manual tasks should be reduced. And thirdly, we have to constantly look at ways where we can, create that process where the mundane, ek to there are these manual tasks. Two, there are these repetitive tasks which we should stop doing. Like for example, we have a team who's primarily doing data mining, pulling out data from Google. Now, there are so many tools which are available. Now, if I sat with that team and we are making them constantly only do that data mining manually,
Right.
I don't think I'm going to build good efficiencies in the organization. I have to be able to give them those kind of automations and tools and all. Now, for me to give those automations, I need to be able to do that kind of research and innovation, or identify what suits better to the process. So, these two have to go hand in hand. And if these are clear, I think we would have built a very good business, and a very efficient business operations. So basically, the mindset should be to constantly, look with a microscope as to how we can keep changing, or what is new in the market which we can incorporate, or what is the talent within your team through which you can make some process better.
Right.
So the core of all this is, continuous improvement. If you have the mindset of improving continuously, these things all will come into place. And that's something that I think it has to go top down, from leaders and then the different hierarchies. It has to go top down, where we are able to take a step back, look at the process, and assess what can be done better. How can we do things better? So one of my question to my team will always be, what have we done better than yesterday? Or if I'm meeting them after a week, then my ending question or starting question would be, what have we done better than last week? And for that, I have to also create that in my mindset. Key from yesterday, what did I do better today? And it doesn't mean you're constantly, innovating or anything. It's just those slight changes. If one process is taking 28 minutes to do today, let's just aim at doing it at 27 minutes, 50 seconds tomorrow. That's great improvement. And how do we incorporate this? One is constantly question your team. Put it as, one of the thing that they should know that, okay, I am going to be asked about it. So let me start thinking about it. Two, when I say communication has to be good, with so many changes or so many updates which keep happening, they have to be equally communicated across the floor. If something is being adopted, that clear communication has to happen. So, whether it's your SOPs, whether it is your information in your daily huddles or whatever, so that closure of that loop of communication has to happen. And most important is, constant reinvention just helps a person to move away from the comfort zone. I have a problem with being comfortable. Anyone being comfortable, it's a problem. It's nice for that time, but what's comfortable today is not going to be comfortable tomorrow. And there's that famous book, what brought you here will not take you there.
Yes.
So it's that, unless you're reinventing yourself. And my favorite example, which I keep giving my team, is Amitabh Bachchan. That man is an epitome of reinvention. He constantly, you'll not even imagine what he's doing, and he's constantly reinventing. But the best part is he knows what he's good at, and he reinvents within that, which is fine, which is absolutely fine. We're not saying we have to go to the Mars tomorrow. We're just saying whatever you're doing, just do it better tomorrow. That's all.
I think I still remember in the training days, we used to have this picture of Amitabh Bachchan and Shashi Kapoor on the wheelchair. and we used to compare it, right? Same age kind of a group, they had similar kind of careers, but where is Amitabh Bachchan, where was
Absolutely. And also see the downfall which Amitabh Bachchan went, had it not been for that man's clear intent to reinvent himself, if he said, I am a movie star and I want to just take movies as my medium and not shift into that TV, which at that point in time was not a great channel. It's unlike now, right? And still he took it and so many people followed him and all that. I guess he's a good learning this thing, and it's my constant example, and also a lot to learn from children. Subtly, they're always reinventing themselves. They're always changing. The influencing factors could be anything. It could be parents, it could be society, it could be TV, it could be something. But the fact that they have such an open mind to keep changing, keep adapting, keep moving forward with all these changes. That's the mindset we have to constantly work with.
Absolutely. I think one point I wanted to ask you is around automation and layoffs as such. What's your brutal take on layoffs? You've been seeing layoffs since 2021, since COVID as such. And in the last podcast series, I think that was a constant question which I asked. What's the take? How can actually people prepare for layoffs, leaders as well as people actually going through? With AI, Gen AI, and what kind of AI is actually coming across the board, innovations, and people are afraid, if they're not into it, they may actually lose their jobs. The question basically is, you have young teams, you're actually leading young teams at Intandemly. If the situation arises that for business priorities, you need to, lay off people, what would be your take?
So, great question, Ravi. It is mostly, it's very unfortunate that we are having to go through that. But I think the buck lies with us also, because, and this is where that constant reinvention comes into picture. We are moving at a very fast pace, very, very fast pace. There are too many things which are coming up and taking the roles of people. Now, if we are not adapting to it, I think every business will look at things from a business sense at the end of the day, which is right from a business perspective, and that would obviously mean people losing jobs if they're doing the same thing only. If I were to simplify it, if a person said, I will make the idli batter through this manual thing only, now just imagine how many takers will be there for him at this point in time. We need people who know how to operate those machines and, all that. So you have to keep upgrading yourself in your field with whatever is the latest. Like, for example, AI has come and maybe the content team members are having a challenge. Boss, move up, start becoming prompt engineers, maybe include SEO also. So maybe in your role, content management has lost its charm. But then if you widen your scope of knowledge, then you are a one stop for multiple things. And maybe then you can add that value there. And this is one solution, Ravi, but the numbers in which these layoffs are happening, it's extremely sad. And most of the layoffs are happening because AI is replacing those particular tasks. And I think somewhere we have to take balance between AI and the human aspect of it. And my other thing would be, when you are starting, start lean. Most of the layoffs which have happened has also not been because AI is replacing them, but because there has been a not so great, what can I say, not so great business planning while hiring so many people. So if that plan was intact, And if leadership had that foresight, there are these tools and technologies which are there, maybe we should start contemplating on using those instead of hiring these thousands and 10,000s of people. Maybe things wouldn't have been as bad as they were last year.
Absolutely, Swetha. Thanks for your view on that. Coming to the theme of developing stronger leadership and people skills, I think that's your niche. Let's look at leading with emotional intelligence, Swetha. How does EI impact decision making and conflict resolution in leadership? That's question number one. And any practical ways for leaders to develop and strengthen their EI?
I think women have a stronger or an immediate EI inbuilt. Yeah. And it's not that men don't have, it's just that I think they're tuned that way from childhood, which is evolving rapidly nowadays, which is amazing. Great point, Ravi, again. Emotional intelligence is very, very, very important, especially at this time and day with the kind of, with the current Gen Z, right? We are Gen Z. They're such delicate people. I think a lot of forces like too much of information available for them, whatever be the reasons. 10 years back, I don't think we needed so much of emotional intelligence for the leaders, but right now we must have it. It is, for example, I'll just give you, like, this happened right yesterday. There was some slight disagreement in the team meeting, and they were like, okay, it should have been done this way, it was done this way, and all that. Maybe a traditional manager, and I'm just viewing my team and the manager, we're having a complete discussion there. Maybe a traditional manager would have said, okay, just leave it, let's move on, because we have many other things to do.
Yeah.
But then there was this leader of mine who was sitting there, and what he said was, okay, I understand there are a lot of opinions which are going on, and there are a lot of emotions that are playing. Let us just take a step back and understand not what is your problem, but why is your problem becoming a problem? Let's understand the reason for that. So what he did was beautiful. Rather than just shoving the issue under the carpet, he chose to address the reason for that particular issue. And that comes out of pure emotional intelligence, having that ability to attack that issue with an high emotional quotient.
Yeah.
And just being sensitive about the team members, validating their thought process. It's just about doing that. And that's what, and when the team finished the meeting and we got out, everyone had a sense of achievement. Nobody had that sense of, I wasn't heard. My issue was not addressed. That thing was not there. And this happens only when you start dealing things with a little bit of emotional intelligence. And this is again something that you have to consciously start building. So why I said women get it naturally is because, at home, the upbringing is that when somebody comes, we're asking questions like, how are you? How has your journey been? What have you done? Or when you're meeting your kids, your question will be like, how was your day? Did you eat your breakfast? What did this friend say to you?
Yeah.
Versus a father, the kind of questions would be more like, okay, what were your marks in your exam? Why did you score less? You see that objective questioning versus an emotional questioning. So that's kind of, so what happens is invariably, this is what builds in that trust also. But then absolute 360-degree change, which is happening. So yesterday's thing was a male who addressed it this way. So
Yeah.
it's going well that way. So these going back to your question, I think emotional intelligence is very, very important. It starts with leaders reflecting upon their own actions. How are they handling things? Could they have done better? Are there any issues which we have to address in a different way? So these things constantly, if we are able to self-reflect, I think it will show up within the teams as well. Was that your question? Did I
Yeah,
answer your
perfect.
question?
Absolutely. Yeah, you nailed it.
Okay.
So I was actually thinking what should be the next question. And I thought, let's look at your journey. I mean, you work at Workidia, inside a corporate, and Wells Fargo inside a corporate. You manage people over there, and then went on your entrepreneurship journey, and quite successful at what you have done. I don't know how many years. I think 6, 7 years with Intandemly.
2016. So yeah, 9 years.
3 years. Oh, yeah.
9 years. Yeah.
How was the journey? How was it working for a corporate vis-a-vis being on your own and you're the chief operating officer? How was the journey in a quick snapshot?
Oh,
Can you?
yeah. It is it's an amazing journey. I think fundamentals were good because I worked with companies like Berkadia and Wells Fargo and all. I've had the opportunity to meet some amazing people. We've discussed Santosh Cherian, then there was Shubhayu, Rupesh, all these people who've made that impact in our journeys
Yeah.
forward. Um, Coming to Intandemly was a completely different ball game because in MNCs you work with some set processes, procedures, and all.
Yeah.
In startups or bootstrapped like ours, it is we have to constantly build as we are going.
Yes.
So what stands is if you're looking for very comfortable yet challenging, then MNCs is your go-to. But if you're looking for something which is more challenging and but can pull out your creativity and all, I think bootstrap. So that has been the change for me. What happened to me earlier in my career was when I was with MNCs was um, I was more like, going in a siloed way.
Right.
We all know the big picture, but then you have to do only what your team is required to do.
Yeah.
There is no overlap and all that. But when it comes to Intandemly, we all have a say in everything. Like I am actually sitting with the technology team, the HR team, the sales team, the marketing team, and we are all brainstorming together. So we are trying collaboratively to make a good solution for the clients and all. So that's the key difference, and that's how that evolution has happened. So it reminds me of one of my client is also an MNC, and amazing people, extremely creative people, Ravi, but they have so many BCP and risk processes that they cannot go beyond a point to explore their creativity. So somewhere maybe having too many of those controls kind of limits a person in terms of letting their creativity flow out,
Yeah.
which in bootstrap startups, the controls are a little lesser. So if that's been my journey, that's how it evolved.
And I'm actually going through your LinkedIn profile, and I want this to be part of the introduction, but I think what I've seen is that I think you are a great people person. If you look at it, you co-founded Vodka Moms, growth partner over there, deliver e-services, strategy partner for marketing and ops, Outgrow.co, conversions and boosting solutions consultant, and a lot of such initiatives and I think connects you actually made across the board. How is it that you make it easy while connecting with people, Shweta? That's the final question.
I think it just happens naturally, Ravi. I'm glad you brought up Dwarka Moms. It's such a beautiful uh, society. It's a community, and it's a community of women who want to do something, but because they don't have support at home, and they have to take care of their family, they're
Yeah.
unable to do. So, this is a platform which we've created where women can come within their restrictions and learn from us and create what they want to do. It's just a community of about 40,000 women in one section of Delhi.
Wow.
So my journey to Delhi, I think this was the underlying meaning for me to create this entire platform and all. But then once I moved out, it's in able hands out there because physical presence is also required out there.
Absolutely.
So what makes it easy is, I think the biggest thing is the emotional connect, which I can build with people, and that has come through my entire work journey, I would say. It does help to have like a big family. We have a huge extended family, so
Yeah.
you have different people, you're meeting them, you're talking to them and all. But sometimes what happens is, if there is no container to that emotional intelligence, it spills everywhere. So the corporate life helps you build that container
Yeah.
while the lid is flexible. So you're able to grow like that.
Absolutely.
So that kind of probably helped me, and that's what translates into my working with my teams as well. So, small things. I insist on my team celebrating on small wins.
Right.
And that kind of small wins can be anything. Just that, a client said good work, which is a very common thing for us. But then it's something nice, and we all stand up. There's a bell there. We ring the bell and just make them feel happy. So just these small things make a lot of difference, and we tend to go a long way because of those things. And I think it's because of that, Ravi. I've never thought about it, but as you brought it up, I'm thinking about it.
Absolutely. Are you looking at coming up with Gachibowli moms also?
Yesterday evening only, I was in talks with my same co-founder of Dwarka Moms. So we were thinking we should start something like this, especially not just Kachibauli, maybe Cyber City Moms.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I would love to do something like that.
Absolutely, Shweta. Thank you so much for your time.
It's been a
We
pleasure.
covered three themes, Shweta. We covered enhancing team dynamics and collaboration. You brought in a beautiful perspective because you've actually been a people manager. And this podcast definitely is going to touch a lot of people because you gave a lot of practical insights based on your experience. We looked at optimizing operations and business efficiency and how to develop strong leadership and people skills. And I think your journey from the corporate to being an entrepreneur is an inspiring one without doubt. And all the best from the Monday Morning Learning podcast for your Cyber City Moms initiative, Shweta. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you, Ravi.
Concluding
It's been a
comments
pleasure.
before we end?
It's just been a pleasure being here, and I'm an ardent fan of all your podcasts. I see all of them. I take cues from each of them, and please continue wherever you need support. Happy to help, happy to be a part, and look forward to our meeting.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Shweta.
Thank you.